In every competitive game there's a meta, an optimal way of playing that game. And just like any other game, Valorant also has a meta. We want to play with the controller, sentinel, or duelist, play defensive on the defender side, don't peek one by one on the attacker side, and play time in the post plant. But what if we ignore the meta? What if instead of doing what everybody expects us to do, we do completely the opposite? And that's where this video is all about, my friends. In this video I'll go over some crazy strategies that you can do instead of doing the usual. Some of these tactics are submitted in the Discord server, but also some of the tactics were actually used by professional players in a tournament. Congrats to Minty Duststuff, Mr. Mooseman and Pickle Higa for winning the battle passes. If you also want the chance to win, join the Lowlander Discord server. Now sit back, relax and enjoy the video. Let's start with a tactic that has been used in a professional tournament. And it's about the spike and the defender spawn. As we all know, the spike and the defender spawn don't go together. If you bring the spike to the enemy spawn, then you must be a troller, right? Well, not if your team is called loud. Here's the tactic. On split, try to get control over heaven. Nothing out of the ordinary over here. If you get control over heaven, usually you can do two things. You either rotate through vent towards B, or you push A. If you notice that two or more enemies are on A side, then the choice is easy. You go B. You don't push A into a crossfire. And when rotating to B, everybody will push vent. That's the meta. But the thing, if there's an enemy in vent, because it's such a small choke point, that enemy can do serious damage. He can get 2, maybe even 3 kills over there. So if you notice that an enemy is in vent, consider going through the spawn of the enemies. You have to smoke the right side, of course, otherwise the enemies might get you from behind. And then push B, easy peasy side for you. This is a tactic that Loud used against NRG. As you see on the minimap, first Raze goes solo. The role of Raze is to check if the path is clear. Right behind Raze are Astra and Sky pushing with the spike. If Raze dies, then they are there to refrag the enemy. Luckily in this round it was completely clear, they could plant the spike and win the post plant easy peasy. I wish people cheered like that if I won a round. Let's move on. The next crazy tactic got submitted by Minty Duststuff. It's a very situational and extremely risky tactic, but it's a cool one. Here's how it goes. Imagine you're in an eco round or an half by round. In those rounds, your odds of winning will be very low because you have bad guns. So why not try doing something fancy? What you gotta do if you play on the defender side, go with all your teammates to a small corner that the enemies won't check. And then camp there. Wait till the enemies are planting the spike, and even then wait a little longer. If an enemy were to check it, it's 5 versus 1 and you get an easy kill, but you just gotta play time. Eventually, after the enemies planted the spike, they will get impatient. So they're gonna leave the site and search for the team. And at that point, you gotta push with 5 teammates, get the site, get the 3 versus 5, and then just simply defuse the spike when the enemies are not there. And that's how you win the rounds, easy peasy. Let's go back to the pro matches. I see a trick on Bind that a lot of professional players are doing, like in the game of Fnatic versus Evil Geniuses, but I personally never see in normal competitive games. If you just play a ranked game on Bind and you're on the attacker side, usually the tactics go like this. You go A with your team, you go B with your team, you go B, teleport and fake towards A, or you play a default. But here's a tactic that not a lot of people are using. Here's what you gotta do. Let one teammate go to hookah, just let him chill there for information, and send the rest of your team towards A short. After that, make a lot of sound on A short. Maybe throw some utility down, and often when you do this, 1 or 2 enemies from B will rotate towards A. And of course, you will get smoked, because you always get smoked over here. If you get smoked, yes, you can do the trick now. Wait with your team in the smoke, use your flash, and then everybody teleports towards mid and then push B with your team.
Not really equipped for that. TP, away we go.
As you see on the minimap, Brimstone just rotated towards A, so B was basically clear for Evil Geniuses. I hear some people saying, I use this trick a lot in the normal games. But how it often goes in those games is that you push A, you chill a little bit here on site, but then you realize, oh, it's too hard to push, and then you rotate. But often by then it's already too late, so with this tactic you jump in the teleporter immediately. Good luck, my friends. Let's move on with the submission of Yuruks. This tactic is actually not that crazy, but really clever, and that's why I wanted to show it in this video. Here's how it goes. You know that in the post plant, if you get smoked, almost every player would ping the spike so they know where to wallbang through the smoke.
One enemy remaining.
We know this tactic, you probably got some glitches with it. But here's the thing, why not also use this tactic for the ultimate orbs? The answer, because it's very annoying to go to the minimap, search for the orb and then ping it on the minimap. You don't want to do that in the middle of the round. What if the enemy is exactly peeking on that moment? Often the entrance in front of an ultimate orb will get smoked, and just before it gets smoked, just simply press Z and then you also have a ping on top of the orb. And the cool thing, when you have a feeling that the orb is about to disappear, just press Z again on the same spot and easy peasy kills for you.
Here.
And after that, it's a waiting game. Pray that the enemy will take the orb. If you hear the bloop bloop sound, shoot through the smoke and easy kills for you.
Joke's over! You're dead!
Let's move on and talk about some pro tactics again. A question for you, how do you push B on split? It's very simple, this is how everybody always pushes B. You place a sage wall here on the right and then you push straight ahead. You don't have a sage in your team, no worries, a Viper wall, Astra wall or any smoke also works fine. With the meta, you push straight ahead and then you take control over the side. But let's switch things up. What if you don't push straight ahead? Well, here's a tactic that evil geniuses actually use a lot. When you want to push B, you have to smoke heaven, hut and maybe the defender spawn. And then instead of pushing forward with your team, you push to the right with your team. You go around the pillar and that's how you clear the side. Just look at this game of the Master Finals.
Flash towards Boaster, Painter to follow. Cross can be had as well. Seeker's gonna make that pretty secure. And
why should you do this? Well, the reason why this tactic is good is because you can force a lot of unequal battles. A lot of 1 versus 3s or 1 versus 2s. And when you do this tactic, I would also recommend that one guy lurks through middle just to try to get the enemies from behind. Butterflies. Some people are afraid of butterflies, but most people think that butterflies are beautiful little creatures. A butterfly stands for victory, for winning. Whoa, that sounds cool. How do I become a butterfly? I also want to win games. Well, my friends, I got the answer for you and that's with the caterpillar tactic. The next crazy tactic of this video, submit it in the Discord server. When people think of the caterpillar tactic, they usually think about the attacker side. You use a lot of smokes back to back and then you push through and plant a spike in your smokes. But this is not the only use of this tactic. Instead of on the attacker side, you could also use this tactic on the defender side as an aggressive push. By doing this, you get control over a certain area of the map, and if you combine it with your ultimate or a Molotov, you might force the enemies to push inside your smoke and you can get an easy peasy kill. Now let's move on with some agent specific tactics. Let's start with Neon. Did you ever try to free run with this agent? Look at Matcha Boba go.
I'm out of here.
And that's how you get the enemy. Neon is actually a pretty interesting agent with crazy tactics. If you're on close range and you notice that the enemy has a Marshal, for example, you could also try to bunny hop with your E around the enemy.
Where's your guy?
One enemy remaining. My ult's ready.
Yup, if I were the enemies, I would definitely tilt after this round. Next agent, ISO. Here's a perfect way to tilt the enemies. A crazy tactic you can use with ISO is about this Q ability. If you think the enemies are about to walk around the corner, you can use your Q, then jump and try to knife them. The cool thing is that it doesn't have to be a backstep, but if you use your right click knife anywhere on the enemy's body, it will be an insta-kill. In this round, Mr. Pickle didn't use it exactly around the corner, but well played. It also works in knife battles mid, I guess.
Show me a turn. Destabilizing.
Whoa, did you know that ISO can knife his E ability? I didn't know that, that's a pretty cool mechanic. And another crazy agent specific tactic, if you play Jet on the defender side, pushing in combination with your teammates' abilities could be very useful. It could be any agent, Sky for example, let Sky flash, dash in and the enemies won't expect it. Look at this round.
Hawk out. Blinded. Multiple enemies A.
And this, my friends, this is the last one alweer. Subscribe if you like the video, and if we get more subs, then relax my cat before the end of the year, I will do a setup tour. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you learned something, and I see you guys in the next one. Peace.